There, myself Krishna, very warm welcome to all. And today we discuss a little bit about OOPS principle, and this is important concept because of that when you actually focus on low level design, and we should focus on that concept because of that when you actually want to just make a system, and so for maintaining code consistency and lots of about it, you should to focus on that particular part. So overall agenda for today, that what we are going to do, what we are going to discuss for today is like something we are can discuss like abstraction and polymorphism. These are both concepts are really interesting concept, and when you actually focus on that particular concept, you have a core idea about around the oops. And okay, so I'm not just going to just move toward the entire code logic, what kind of the code logic that we can use here. uh, just I'll give you this basic idea to understand actually why this particular concept is important and what the inside the concept. And we actually discuss the idea behind the scene, so that's an important part. So if you talk about that particular one is like abstraction and polymorphism, this is very important concept of oops principle. And this is dominating over entire oops area like object oriented programming. And when actually developing that system, okay, so vibe coding is enough for just making a code, but when actually just understand the code logic and you have some idea about that particular concept, you can perform and you can make better code. And by using that particular agents of the technology, coding agents. So that's why important part to discuss for today. So uh, again, if this one going to productive for you, if you learn something from there, then it's my pleasure. See you soon. Okay, let's come to agenda number one. And in this agenda, we actually talk about abstraction. Abstraction is important concept when we actually talking about like low level design, and especially for oops. Okay, because of that, abstraction play an important role to make a particular user friendly interface and user friendly system uh, to just interact the user much easily. So before starting this particular conversation, going to just particular coding rather than coding, just we need to discuss a little bit about like, yeah, this particular concept is like very easiest one to I connect with real world application and real world dots. Okay, all the real world dot to understand, explain you learn much better about it. Okay, so overall abstraction is like hide, expose, and simplified. So here we actually talking about, okay, yeah, some, okay, so entire code, just you write a code, 100 lines of the code, just you want to hide the complexity of the code. And you need to expose somehow the importance of the code, important code, for making user friendly. Because of that, you want to just reduce the difficulty in the entire system architecture. Okay, uh, let's suppose you are going to just ATM to just fetch the money and just debit the money. But I think like only thing possible by this particular one, you go ATM and just click that what the user interface look like, and just according to you respond, and just you fetch the you debit the lots of money here. But in that particular one, we actually say, okay, so this part is like where you debit the money, and the system is designed in such a way like anyone can interact that particular system, so can easily fetch out the information, easily fetch out the money and just debit the money without any such a difficulty to without any difficulty of the backend logic, understanding backend logic. So they the particular user is not going to just try to understand what the backend logic running inside. They only just go to that particular system, and they interact with that friendly manner, and just understand, okay, yeah, this particular system is friendly in nature, and we can just debit the money whatsoever. So easiest way. So providing flexibility and consistency and maintainability, and you can say eco like friendly, user friendly system. For making user friendly system, we can use this abstraction oops principle, especially because of that this particular principle have one important role is like it reduces the difficulty for the user to interact to system. So that's the basic thing we are talking here. So hide means something, we hide complexity and we expose some simplicity, we make simplified user interface, user friendly system. That's the basic thing we are talking here. Okay, I think like key components work here, like few abstract class and interface. I will try to explain you like what is the interface is like. Okay, so you know about abstract class. If you want to just know about abstract class is something like, okay, abstract like suppose this is a parents and this is child. This is parents class and this is child class. Child have some property. They have a both shared behavior. I think, okay, so parents is all about something. They contain lots of bunch of the codes. Okay, so parents contain bunch of the codes. Okay, but uh, it is half filled with the behavior. Let's suppose parents contain car features. Okay, so the car, like brand name, and year. They talk about little bit few parameters, brand name and year. This is the basic two parameters parents class talk about. And child class just fulfill that particular parameter. They add more about like company name and more about it, like abstract class. This is called abstract class, where they have all the parameter but half filled parameter, like empty bottle, which is half filled. And this bottle will complete filled with the water only the childs come. So it's all about like dependency or interdependency of the both classes, abstract and child classes. Okay, abstract class and child class, when they come together, just complete the entire bottle. Okay, so that's the basic thing abstract class uh, is all about. Interface is all about the simple unified interface, and simple interface user can interact friendly in nature without any backend difficulties. So that's all about interface and abstract class, and that are the key components here. Okay, let's come to the important parts here. Like I will try to just explain you pseudocode of the one of the best example of the copy machine. I think pseudocode help you to understand the why we use this particular abstraction concept and why this particular concept is important. Let's suppose you have a coffee machine, okay, and in that particular coffee machine, you actually what you're doing here, just make we just for write we actually try to write a code for a coffee machine, okay, where the coffee machine have three different features. The coffee machine make black coffee, cold coffee, and hot coffee. This is all have a different methods to call. They all, let's suppose this all have a such as different classes. Let's suppose this all are individual classes. They have own property of the classes. Okay, for making a cold coffee, just you have a different process. For making hot coffee, you do a different process. You follow. Well, for making a black coffee, just you have a different process. So that's all about it. So in that part, we actually talking about make a class. We initially make a class with universal attributes, and overload method one with the black coffee, and overload method two with cold coffee, and overload method three. So this is three method here, like black and cold coffee, and we just make a universal attribute here. Because of that, we call this all the method with a single attribute. So that's we make a class first and with their universal attributes. Okay, and when we actually try to just call this particular all the method, we just use that, okay, this particular method is, and we call only function of each method. Here we actually using polymorphism concept, but I will try to explain you what the polymorphism is. But in that particular one, we actually try to here to just call only for function of each of them. We click only button to do that particular function, rather than dealing with the backend logic. So that's all about it, like making friendly system to just user interact with easiest way. That's all about like abstraction. And okay, let's come to the next part, polymorphism. Hey, let's come to agenda number two, and in this agenda we actually talk here like little bit about polymorphism. And polymorphism is again very important one for their OOPS principle, and it is an important part that we are going to discuss for today. Yeah. So when we're talking about polymorphism, just I give it two magic word to understand you like polymorphism. The first one is like action, and second one is like multiple results. So instead, okay, so OOPS is all about object and class. So here have we just try to make different object to distribute the code in like object, parents, and child classes. But what happened, like if you need a call the each child separately instead of calling. So let's suppose you are in your home and you have like let's suppose you have a three child in your home, and suppose you want to give a toffee, or suppose you want to just give a chocolate, like chocolate or something like coffee. Then what happened if you call one by one instead of calling simultaneously all that once call? It's look like something, okay. So calling individually one by one is very difficult right now in that, especially when we're talking about technical terms. And when we actually talking here, is all about like something. Uh, it's all about like nowadays the people are considered okay. Calling individually is very difficult on technical view, but calling simultaneously according to suitable one, they can show the result. Similarly, I will try to just connect this particular concept. So let's suppose you have a coffee machine, and each machine have own distinct features. Okay, so let's suppose a coffee machine with their all the different keys are if I label this key, let's suppose this particular machine and the key 1, key 2, key 3. Key 1 for black coffee, and key 2 for cold coffee, and key 3 for hot coffee. So here, let's suppose you need to write a code for this particular coffee machine to, okay, so as you know, like coffee machine is actually work on that basic principle. Like they also use the coding logic behind the scene. But what happened? Like you need to write a code for this particular stuff. If someone click the key 1, then they actually get what they want, like black coffee, gold coffee, suitable one. What they actually what they want. This is the particular you are talking here. Like okay, when you press a key 1, you get black coffee. Press 2, uh, key 2, cold coffee, hot coffee, according to it. That's the basic thing. But when you just try to just say that okay, what I'm trying to say here is like, what happen if you need to write a code for this? So instead of writing a code for each of them like differently, like individual, calling individually, what happens if you call at once? The code logic are repeated once at a time, and they find a suitable one and it give you a result. Okay. Again, let's try to another way, and I think this particular way is work here. Let's suppose you have a coffee machine. Okay, again coffee machine, and in that particular coffee machine you have two different machine. The first machine is all about for black coffee, especially for, and second machine is only for that hot coffee, like hot coffee. Okay, like and in that particular one, you need to write code for this both machine instead of individually one by one, like separate copy. You need to write one single code, and you can run this both code in the both machine. Then what you will do, you apply polymorphism concept. I come to the technical part of it directly. So in polymorphism we try to just okay, we just try to here to just make a code in such way like if I run that particular machine 1, then it give a suitable output, and copy 2 automatically that shift the output according to the what kind of the machine that we are running here. So that's the basic one that we're talking here, that polymorphism is help us to calling the all class individually. They call simultaneously suitable output. With a single action you got the multiple output, but which one is suitable output, that you got a result here. So the use cases is like flexibility and scalability. When you're scaling a code and you want to make flexible code, then the flexibility is important here. Because of that, instead of writing the one by one code to okay, we call this particular processor like credit card, debit card. So when we're talking about payment platform, that highly used in polymorphism concept, is highly used in like payment platform, payment gateway. Instead of calling again and again each payment method, we can try to just call the simultaneously at the once, that we can try. So that's the use cases. Flexibility and scalability is important here. And second one, clean code. It helps us to make a clean and reliable code without any just making such noise on that particular code. So polymorphism basically have two parts, like compile time polymorphism, second is runtime polymorphism. Second one is the action. Okay, so compile time polymorphism is like called the static dispatch. So in that part, we actually have one static function of the each of them. When you call that key 1, you got a black coffee only, not at the hot coffee according to it. So each individual key, but you are running a same code instead of individual code, each of them. So that's the basic thing in the static dispatch. And when you're talking about runtime polymorphism is like dynamic dispatch, where you try to just make a code which is suitable for your actual output. Compile time polymorphism sounds similar, like you make decision, you have a static decision before the code run, before compiling, okay, before getting output, before get output. So that's the basic thing. And runtime polymorphism is like dynamic dispatch. Okay, so when you just try to just make a dynamic dispatch, in that part is like something you make a code, but in different way. You make decision by looking the suitable situations here. Let's suppose what the particular machine is. If this particular machine is like only for black coffee, then can you run the code and you get black coffee only for that. That's why I'm trying to explain you here, like same code with different machine. If you two machine have a different specially designed for the different purpose, then you can run the same code and for showing your flexibility of the code, like how can you show the flexibility of the code and you can give the output result according to it. So that's the basic thing. Secondly, like okay, action with compile term polymorphism, you take a one action and suitable overloading method, it give a result according to it. Let's suppose payment gateway is the best example for it, and I try to explain you. So that's all about like polymorphism, where you take a single action. So instead of calling individually all the classes and objects and parents, okay, each of them individually, we can call it once. So it help us to reduce the overloading of the code, like burden of the code you can say, and structure of it helps us to maintain and clean code without any noise, adding noise on that particular one. So it's make a clean code, and it helps us to make flexible the code. So that's the basic thing behind the polymorphism. Again, this one going to productive for you, and if you learn something from there, then it's my pleasure. See you soon.